we are ready.
We are.
What is a live stream without sound technical difficulties?
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining or for watching the recording. Apologies for the slight delay. We've had some technical difficulties here, but we are all yours now. And as advertised, today we'll be talking about mortgages in the Czech Republic. What are the requirements? What type of residence permits you need to have? What are the conditions currently? And we've brought an amazing expert who is, because plenty of you ask us these questions, but we don't have the answers. So we brought you an expert who will be able to answer all the questions. So we have some questions prepared, which you asked us in advance. So we will always do it the way that we answer three questions we have prepared, and then we'll give a chance to you to ask questions live, and we will answer those. And then again, we will answer three questions we prepared, and we'll do it like this for the next 45 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, let's see where that gets us in.
Yeah, all right.
You should excuse us because we'll be looking at different phones and everywhere. Here also there are 4 phones in front of us, and I'm a little bit losing concentration over here. There's so many lenses everywhere, but we'll try to do our best to answer everyone.
Yeah, I was trying to open the Facebook, but yeah, okay. Anyways, so shall we get started?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so will you introduce the questions or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, as well.
Okay, so please.
No, you can.
Yeah, so we've mentioned a couple times that it's an amazing expert in mortgages, but we actually haven't told you his name. So please welcome Maximilian from Czech Advisors. And they as a company have sold plenty of properties to expats using mortgages, not using mortgages, so there is no one better we could have brought. And yeah, use us as much as you can.
Yeah, we will be definitely happy for questions. It's best when the live streams are, interactive a bit. So let's start.
Yeah, let's start. So we'll start with the first 3 questions. So we have prepared, and then we'll see if someone has asked in the chat on YouTube or on Facebook. Facebook as well. Yeah.
Facebook as well, yes.
And then we'll answer those, and we'll do it like this. So the first question: what does fixation or maturity mean in Czech mortgage slang? So please, Maximilian.
Okay. So because these terms differs across the world. In America, it works a bit different, and so on. Anyways, so in Czech mortgage, when we are talking about maturity, we are talking about the number of years the mortgage is being taken to. So, for example, when you have a maturity of 30 years, that means that the loan should be repaid in 30 years. That does not mean that you have to pay for the 30 years. You can pay it off earlier based on some conditions. We can maybe talk about it later. So maturity is the term of the mortgage, essentially. Fixation, that means at the beginning of the mortgage, when you take a mortgage, you and bank decide on some specific interest rate, let's say 5%. And following that, you will agree on fixation term, which is again a number of years on which the bank is basically guaranteeing you the interest rate. So it won't change up or down. It's fixed. It's for some period of time. During the fixation period, when the interest rates maybe on the market may become lower than what you first fixed for, you can refinance currently and get a better loan, a better interest rate. But again, I think they will follow up on some other questions. So just for starters.
Okay.
Was it too long or?
Okay. Yeah. So thank you, and let's go to the next question. And the next question is.
Yeah, we have qualification requirements for Czech mortgage, and we have a whole group of questions about that. So our next question is, what type of residence permit do I need to get a mortgage in the Czech Republic?
Okay, so of course residence permits, there are like millions of them, right? So I'll start with the most basic one, or at least the one that I encounter the most. It's an employee contract, employee permit. So that's type of long-term residency. And for employee card, you are able to get mortgage, but only with few banks on the market. Some markets does not take these plans at all, and also some other conditions during the approval process may be more strict, let's say. So even with this most basic, I would say, type of permit, you are able to get it. As you stay in Czech Republic for longer, you may grant permanent residency, which is one of the highest level, let's say, of the residency permit. And when you have permanent residency, you have virtually the same type of conditions as a Czech citizen does. But so you can choose from basically any bank on the market. You won't have worse interest rates and so on. But the thing is that most people think that you need the permanent residency, which is not true. You can have even some other types of the residencies to get a mortgage. Yeah.
Okay, that's good news, I believe, for many of you,
Yeah.
that you don't need a PR to get a mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, also most of the people that think you need a PR or citizenship to get a mortgage, so that's actually very good.
Yeah. Czech Republic is pretty benevolent, or pretty banks are.
Good. Okay, so the next one is how much in advance and what exactly should I start preparing if I want to get a mortgage?
Yeah, okay, so that's a big question. So first of all, I think what people, where people get it wrong is that they first search for properties, they go on some visits, they like the property, and then they are following with dealing with the mortgage. I would actually do it the other way around. First, I would solve my mortgage. I would get an idea of how big of a mortgage can I actually get based on your income and other factors. And then when you know your budget, I would go and search for properties. So first you can go to, of course, to some banks and have some comparison, or you can go directly to me and we can do the comparison for you, which is part of our job. Because the banks are very, very different in many aspects, and I've encountered some situations where some expat went to a specific bank and they told him that he can't get a mortgage at all. It wasn't true. It was just at their bank it wasn't possible. So just don't get don't believe everything that they tell you. But first deal with the mortgage, get a budget, then start preparing for visits of the properties.
Alright.
And is there anything special, like any type of documents people should prepare?
Yeah, okay, so each bank has a different documents. Not that they are different in what they mean, they have different logos. Essentially, they are pretty similar, but it's pretty hard to get something in advance because you never know in which bank are you going to go for, right? So, but essentially, I think the residency card is good to have it valid because sometimes people go to us and they have the invalid residency card and they are waiting for the physical copy, right? And they have the bridge visa,
Yeah.
which is the term where you cannot get a mortgage actually because
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, good.
Alright.
Let's see if we have any questions from you live. I don't think we have any on YouTube. So let's see if we have something on Facebook.
I don't think so.
I don't see it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue with the ones we prepared, because anyway, those are questions which we ask you to ask in advance. So those are questions you ask anyway.
Yeah.
So I believe that will answer everything you might be interested in.
Yeah, the next question we have, which really interests me, is how much of a down payment do you need to get a mortgage?
Okay.
Is it
Okay.
10%? Is it 15%? Is it a kidney? How much do you need?
Yeah, definitely kidney.
Depends on how many kidneys you have.
Maybe I'll use a drawing board
Yeah.
for this one
Okay.
because yeah, it differs.
Alright.
So there was a change in law in 2021, I believe, that change these down payment conditions. Just note that for Czech citizen and for expat, the down payment conditions are basically the same. They differ in some aspects, but let's call it that they are the same. So the thing is that when you buy a property, okay, that may cost like, I don't know, let's say it costs 5 million, 5 million, okay, and a part of this payment will be the mortgage, and part of this will be the down payment, okay, down payment. So this part you have to have as a cash, well, not a physical cash, but you know, on your bank account, and you need to have it always. It's not like you can finance the whole property. You always need to put something from your own pocket. And usually the down payment is either 10% or 20%. But it's based on your age essentially. So when you are the limit is 36 years. Hopefully it's visible. I'm not sure.
From some of the cameras for sure.
Yeah, okay. So for 36 years, that's the limit. So when you are younger than 36 years, let's say you are 30, 32, 28, whatever, you have to have 10%. Of course you can put 20, 30, 100%, right? You can put it anyway, but minimum is 10%. If you are older than that, 40, 50, I don't know, then for you it's 20%. So it's based on your age, essentially. Not residency, not your nationality, nothing.
That's
Yeah.
a little ageist, call it. Yeah. For our Facebook viewers, I apologize, we try to run the camera the best. I can see that you mostly saw our backs right now. So, but basically we're just like 10 or 20% mortgage, blah blah blah, 5 million 36. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. If you don't understand anything, write us a comment and I'll try to clarify it in some different way. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
For our live stream viewers, you will also find extracts of those videos on our platforms later. So you'll be able to watch them in a little bit better quality and also divided by each question later. So in case you didn't see the beautiful chart we have here, you'll be able to see it later.
One call it beautiful one, yeah. Okay.
All right. So the next question is, okay, so it's kind of connected to the one of the previous questions, but it's also a pretty common question actually which you asked, because some of our clients are employees, but some of you are actually freelancers in the Czech Republic. So the next question was if only employees can get mortgage or freelancers as well.
Okay. Easy or short answer is that both employees and freelancers can have a mortgage, so that isn't a problem. When you are employee, you have some gross salary and then some net salary after taxes that goes to your account. So that is the income that the bank is calculating when they are determining whether or not you can afford a certain mortgage. With freelancers, you of course it doesn't work this way. You deposit something called tax return with your accountant, and the income is calculated from the tax returns. The thing is that here it gets a bit complicated with actually determining how high your income really is, and each bank works differently with tax returns. So in one bank they might determine that let's say his income is 30,000 in that, and in some other banks it might be 80,000. Really, the differences are quite large. So it's not a matter of whether or not they can get a mortgage. The thing is how to prove the income the best with freelancers, because it's usually pretty complicated. I would advise definitely to have a mortgage advisor for this.
Yeah, so you can compare kind of more banks and see what the
and there is a lot of magic you can do with it. Yes.
Okay, I see. All right. Thank you.
Right, yeah, I think that next question is connected to our previous one as well. Do I need to have income from the Czech Republic to have mortgage in the Czech Republic?
Yeah, right. So you don't have to necessarily. It's the best because see the banks are very stubborn companies or institutions because they just when something is a bit different than normal they are all terrified and confused and everything. Then I have to explain to them that it's okay. But anyways, the thing is it's not about where your income goes or comes from. It's more about where you tax it. So if you are a tax resident of Czech Republic and you have a Czech tax return that you deposit, it's not a problem that maybe you receive money from, I don't know, Germany or from some other state, even if it's in different currency, which it will be, right? So for example, in euros, that's not a problem. But again, it's more, it's much more difficult to prove it somehow. There needs to be some contracts deposited at the bank so they can check transactions and so on. It's quite a headache, but it's possible. So you don't have to necessarily have income from Czech Republic. You just have to tax it here.
Okay. So I guess that would be the best to speak with you because I'm already confused and.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm confusing, then just.
No, it's just that if you're not exactly sure, you've never been to the mortgage process.
Oh yeah,
it's
pretty much until normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one, I'm always checking, guys. If you see me like look into the phone, it's not that I'm bored. It's just I'm checking the.
Just playing Candy Crush.
Solitaire.
Yeah, so I'm checking if you have any questions on YouTube, but it so far doesn't look like that. So we'll continue with the ones we've prepared. And the next one is, what can I do in long term to increase my chances of getting the mortgage in the Czech Republic? If there is some kind of behavior which will help you to get a mortgage in the future.
Okay, right. So first of all, I think we have a video about it, about the Česo bank account. So there is one bank called Česo bank, I suppose you know it, that has a specific type of account that can actually help you get a mortgage without having to prove officially your income. So you don't have to go to your employer or you don't have to deposit the tax return. So the thing you can do is to set up this bank account, have some income running through the bank account, and then some algorithm will determine your net salary, essentially, and just based on this algorithm-based income, you can take a mortgage of up to 10 million pounds. So that's one thing. The second thing is to tax properly. So people, what they usually do is that they optimize taxes, right? Freelancers, meaning
Optimize,
optimize, exactly. So they have like zero, right? And that's a bad thing to do when you want to take a mortgage. So when you want to take a mortgage, I would say that you really should tax more. So you have like basically higher income, written in a tax return. So that is what you can do for it. But if you are an employee, well, get the best wage you can do, I guess. Other than that, I think there's not much to prepare.
So the Czech Republic doesn't work with any kind of like credit score or anything like that.
Yeah, good point. Czech Republic does not have a credit score as USA or something, some countries similar to that. The only thing is that it's good to pay your loans. When you have a loan and you don't pay it in time, you are then written in registers, and the banks know about it, and then they will have a big problem of you getting a mortgage. So yeah.
And maybe it would be probably a good idea to pay off all your current debts before you apply for a mortgage, or
it depends. It helps with the amount you can borrow, because when you have less liabilities, you can take a bigger liability, right? And therefore a bigger mortgage. But I would always consult it in advance, because for example, when you have different debts, they can be like put together and put into the mortgage, so that has just you have it included in the mortgage, which can save a lot of money and so on. Yeah, but that's specific process.
Okay.
Good.
Right, do you have any questions?
From doesn't. I could go there and see.
Yeah, maybe you can.
Yeah, so just give me a
We
second.
can look for it. For our Facebook viewers, I can see like your less and more.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry.
don't be scared to ask questions as well. We're talking about mortgage. We're talking about how to get a mortgage with an expat today. Properties as well. Yeah. So if you have any questions, just give us a comment into the comment section, obviously.
Yeah, and so we actually have some questions here on YouTube. So just give me a second. So Blue Kiwi 6 asked, what kind of documents are needed to show income proof? And is it possible to get mortgage if you are self-employed and don't have a permanent salaried job?
Yeah, when you are talking about documents needing to prove income, I think it's specified for self-employed, right? For
I think so,
freelancers.
yeah.
Okay. So when you are freelancer or self-employed or SBČ, all you the documents that are proving your income is essentially only tax return and bank statements. So these two combines together. Some banks want just the previous tax return. Some banks want two years of tax return. So for example, 2022 plus 2021. So that's another thing. But to the second point, no, you don't have to have like some regularly paying jobs, even though you are self-employed. Some clients have, big income spike during winter, let's say, like seasonal workers, self-employed, I mean. And that's not the problem. They just make an average for the whole year and determine the average monthly income. Okay. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully that answers the question.
So basically, you just need the tax return. That's what.
Yeah, that's the most essential part. Yeah.
Yeah.
And having paid taxes.
Oh,
Because sometimes that can interfere too.
Yeah, and the tax return must be somehow like stamped by the financial office.
Exactly. Yeah. It depends on how you deposit it. You can deposit it virtually through datová schránka, data box. So then you just export confirmation from data box, or you have physical stamp from financial office.
Okay, so some more question. Let me see, guys, just a second.
Don't see Jan right now because he's behind the phone.
Okay, this one is also from Blue Kiwi 6, and it's another good question. Is it possible to get a mortgage when buying just land, not a house or an apartment? Or is mortgage only meant for houses or apartments?
Interesting question. Well, the mortgage can be used for either land or some apartment or house. The only thing or the only condition with land is that it needs to be for building purposes. So in cadastral office, which is a registry of all the properties in Czech Republic, it needs to be written that this land is used for or will be used for building purposes. So you cannot buy like a field that's just for growing crops or something. That's something that you cannot use a mortgage for. But when it's intended for building a house, no problem at all. Yeah, same conditions apply.
Thank you. So Aldo Fiore, how does it affect if you apply for joint mortgage? One is younger than 36 and one is older than 36.
Oh, nice.
Those are good questions, guys. Thank you.
We get some thinking types here.
Yeah. No. The people are thinking. That's good. That's good. It depends bank to bank. Mostly, the condition or the rule of thumb, I would say, is that if the one that is younger than 36 years old and has the superior income, or at least the same, then 10% applies. If the older one is having the majority of income, 20%. Okay, so it depends on the ratio of income, essentially. And some banks do not care at all. They just immediately put the 20% down payment condition. So it depends. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Another from Aldo Fiore. For freelancers, is it better to get paid into a Czech bank account and bank the high fees over getting paid in some newer banks like Revolut so I can prove my income easily?
So when you have income in abroad, you can pretty much forget about mortgage. Sorry for that. I come across this quite a lot. Well, I wouldn't say you can forget about it. It's just, again, banks, stubborn institutions. Revolut is too modern for them, okay? So they cannot work with it. I had one bizarre case, that's one of my thing, with Revolut. Anyways, so I would highly suggest your income goes to Czech-based bank. Yeah. So even though it's in foreign currency, I would make a separate account with the given foreign currency and have it flow with the Czech bank. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Aldo Fiora, so freelancers should not do 60-40 if you want a mortgage. 60-40, like the 60% deduction of expenses.
Oh yeah, 64. Yeah, that's well, you can. It depends on what you do. For example, that's quite interesting. There are special conditions on how the income is calculated from tax return when you are some specific profession. So when you are an IT guy, which they have 60% of expenses too. The bank knows that, well, what are their expenses, right? It's just electricity and maybe, I don't know, glasses or whatever. There is not much of expenses associated with the business. So they know that the real expenses are very low. Therefore, they recalculate the tax return and give you a higher income. That applies for doctors, for lawyers, and for some other professions. These like highly skilled, I would say, professions. Yeah, they are calculated differently. Yeah. But
that's good news.
Especially for IT guys. Yeah, that's very good. Very good.
All right, thank you. And Blue Kiwi 6, one more question. How recent should be the income proof? Like last few months or the last 1 to 2 years? And guys, now I will be going back to the seat and we'll continue with the prepared questions, and then I will come back here to see if you have some more questions live. So again, the question is, how recent should be the income proof? Last few months or the last 1 to 2 years?
I don't know if we are talking about employee or self-employed, but I will talk about both. So with self-employed, there is no there's no document that is like confirmation of income. That doesn't exist for self-employed. It's just a tax return and the last 3 bank statements, essentially. But for employed people, when you are proving the income, you have to take a specific document that is called confirmation of income, and you will take it to your employer, where he will write, yes, he is gaining, 40,000 pounds in that, and put a stamp on it. This document can be only 1 month old. Okay, so that I guess answers the question.
Yeah, and for how many months must be the average?
It's either for 3 or 12 or both.
Okay.
So there are specific columns. Some banks want 3, some banks want 12 months, some banks want 3 and 12 months, and they cannot differ too much. Between the 3 and 12 months on average. Makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to the answer questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is, how much money can I borrow with a mortgage?
Yeah, so
I'm not holding money.
yeah, totally. I don't actually know if there is some specific limit. I wouldn't say so. At least I never reached to it.
That's good.
I love that answer. I love that. Move on.
And I did quite big mortgages, just a few of them, but still. It's solely based on your, well, not solely, but the main aspect is income, essentially. The higher income, provable income is, the bigger amount of money you're possible to get from pay. And it also it depends on what property are you buying. So again, it can only be up to 90% of the property's value. So that's the second limit, right? You cannot grow more. Okay. But there isn't some specific limit. You can borrow 20, 30, 40 million crowns if you have income and you are buying some villa in Troya or I don't know where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So maybe if you could get, like, from your experience, what would be average mortgage people get? Like, let's say normal employees or normal kind of.
Okay. So at least from my experience, my typical client is somebody who works in IT and has salary in a net, let's say around 40,000 pounds. And usually this client has a wife that has, let's say, 30,000 pounds. So combined they make 70,000 pounds. Given that they do not have any other liability, any other personal loans or something like that, from this income you are able to get, I would say, like 6 million mortgage, let's say. Yeah, the rule of thumb again, but still, when you take your net income and if you have a wife or partner, then you combine them together. So this income, when you put it in half, so 50% of it. So let's say from 70,000 pounds in net, let's say it's what 35,000 pounds. Then this amount can be the maximum monthly payment of your mortgage. So you cannot have a mortgage if the monthly payment will be 40,000 pounds because this exceeds the limit.
Yeah.
If it's 45 or below, then you can have this mortgage. Essentially, that's how it works.
Okay.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is timelines. How long does the processing phase of the mortgage take? So let's say I want to buy a property, I come to you, when can I lock the door and like, move in?
Right, I know I say this a lot, but it depends. So, it depends on in what stage you are, in the whole phase. So when somebody comes to me and already has a big property and just wants to process the mortgage and everything will still be smooth, so there is no problem with cadastro, there is no problem with proving income, there are no problems with residency cards, with down payment, with lawyers, I don't know, there are many things that can delay the whole process. Then I would say month and a half is possible. In a month and a half, I think it's possible to get it. My best time was like three weeks, I think. Yeah, but it was amazingly quick. Everything just went together. I think I will never experience this again. Usually it takes quite a lot of time. But again, the opposite side, the longest I did was like 6 or 7 months because there were some problems with the selling party, and yeah, we had quite a lawyer fight between us and them, and yeah. But usually I would say the half time is 2 months. I would say. I think that's real. Yeah.
Okay. So because we are now doing the live stream and we're sharing the videos later on the Move to Prague channel, so if people contact us and like we connect you, so you're able to help with everything, like finding the property, like if any lawyers need to be involved, like mortgage, like everything, or you do just mortgage.
Yeah. We have a pretty good team, I would say. Of course, not the whole thing is done by me. We have a specific lawyer, we have a specific guy for properties, and some other people that are helping with the whole situation. And yeah, I think we really do everything. Yeah. Right from the beginning that we are at the initial meeting till the point when you have the keys and you are the owner of the property. Yeah.
Cool. So guys, if you're thinking about getting a mortgage, get in touch. We'll be happy to connect you, and like Maximilian and his team will be happy to help you.
Yeah. Maybe then we can say how the process works with us, but that can come later, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure,
And then let's. I will maybe go see if we have some more questions live, and then we do a couple more. So I'm back here. Do you work with different lenders? Blue Kiwi, like heads down, you have like really good questions here, and both of you guys have really good questions, Aldo as well.
Yes, I will say.
So, as an advisor, do you work with the different lenders, and does Czechia have lenders that are not banks?
Okay, like non-bank institutions, yeah?
Yeah, that could get you a mortgage.
Yeah, okay, so I wouldn't go for this. So, for ordinary people, and like I would say for 99% of people, you are able to get a mortgage from normal bank, and that has objectively best conditions. Because when you go to non-bank institutions, then something is wrong. Either you can't prove your income, or there are some other problems, maybe your loan history or something like that. And these non-bank institutions can work around it. But you will get super high rates. So right now, if you would buy a property through non-bank institution, you are looking at 12-14% per year interest rate, in comparison with around 5% with the ordinary banks, so current situation. So that's the first point. And the second point is that when you are borrowing from a company that's not or from an institution that's not a bank, meaning it does not have license from Czech National Bank, you don't have that much client protection from the Czech National Bank, because when something goes wrong and the bank wants some fees, and really they are doing something unlawful, the Czech National Bank usually stands up behind the client, and you have quite a lot of protection. With non-bank institutions, they can do basically anything. They can have some strict clause in the contract, and where they can take your property from you, and so on. So yeah, if you don't know what you're exactly doing, I wouldn't go for non-bank institutions. Yeah, we use them in only very specific cases. Yeah.
And so you work with different banks, you're not tied to one,
No.
one specific bank.
We work with all of the major banks that you know. So my most favorite banks are three. So Hypoteční banka, so ČSOB essentially, Raiffeisen Bank, although they are quite strict now, and Česká spořitelna. I think these three are the best for expats. But yeah, we've done some in Komerční banka, in UniCredit, and so on. Yeah.
All right, good.
You need to have options when you want to work with expats. Each bank has different things, so yeah.
And can you also kind of like negotiate with the bank, that you get one offer from a bank and then you show it to
That's
the
what
other
we
bank?
do. Yeah, that's what we do, definitely. That's actually one thing that is quite hard to do for the client when he works by himself, because we know how to leverage a bit the bank, so they give us a better term than when you just come from the street and do a mortgage there. So we send between them the offers, and we try and see which bank gives us the best conditions for the client. So yeah, we fight for the client, or at least we try to.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So then we have a couple more questions prepared. So the next one would be, can I pay off the Czech mortgage sooner than contracted?
Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning, but I'll clarify once more. So when you take a mortgage, you take it for some specific amount of years. That is called maturity. Usually it's 30 years. So meaning that if you just pay your monthly payments as they go, you will repay the whole loan in 30 years. Sometimes people get some bonuses, or I don't know, they have some inheritance or something like that, and they want to pay off the mortgage quicker before the term. You can do this, definitely. Right now, as of right now, it's possible to do it without any charge. So even though you took the mortgage yesterday and you want to pay it off today, you can, and you won't be charged for it. So that's possible as of right now. The thing is that in September there will be a change in law that will return fees for early repayment. Yeah, essentially. But that only happens in fixation term. So just to clarify, when you are in a fixation term, Okay, so
So
let's
that's
say,
the 5 years.
yeah,
of
that's
the
the
same.
let's say, yeah, the
rate.
five years that your interest rate is fixed for, and the bank can move it. At the end of the fixation term, you negotiate with the bank, see what interest rate they are able to get you, and you ask other banks if they are able maybe to give you the condition, right?
Yeah.
But at this point, you are free to go to other bank or stay with the same one, or you can repay the whole loan. But during the fixation period, after the September change happens, during the fixation period, when you will try to either refinance to different bank or pay off the whole loan, you will have some fees. It's calculated for each year that goes to the end of your fixation. So let's say you have 5-year fixation, you have 3 years left till the end. Then for each year you will pay 0.5% of the remaining or the remaining principal, so the remaining amount that is left to be paid. So that will come up to a fee of 1.5%.
Yeah.
Okay. Bit difficult to understand, but
So if you want to repay, you like refinance now, so you're on the first year of the 5 of the fixation, and you want to pay it now, pay it off now, so you pay 5 times 0.5.
yeah, there will be 2.5%,
Yeah.
but the maximum is 2%. So you can have more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a limit, or there will be a limit of this fee. So just note. And actually, this will apply only for new mortgages that will happen after September. So if you do mortgage in July, even though in September this new law will come into force, you are still, the mortgage is still based on the old terms, so you can refinance anytime. Okay.
Good.
Just
Just a small motivation for you guys to get a mortgage now.
and a tip, it really is important.
Yeah. Like that 2% can be a lot of money. You know,
Oh, yeah.
9 million crowns mortgage.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question that is connected to the one, I think you partly answered that already, but can I refinance my mortgage during the fixation period?
Yeah.
So that you can pay it early, but you need to pay something, but
Yeah,
can you
yeah, yeah.
refinance it?
Yeah. So essentially, when you look at refinancing, it's the same as if you pay off, because it's not. It's just a matter of who pays it off. So when you are paying off your mortgage, like completely, you take the money and give it to the bank. But when you are refinancing, you are not putting the money. The different bank is, and it's basically repaying the whole mortgage to the original bank and takes the loan to itself. Okay. So it goes to the same terms. So yes, you can do that.
But also you'll be paying some extra, this zero.
After September, when the
Yeah.
law comes into force, then yes.
Okay.
Right now, there are no fees essentially, or very little, like few
Start
hundred
today,
pounds.
start today to get your mortgage.
Yeah, done. But now is the time when you actually, if you're freelancers, you're doing your taxes. So maybe keep this in mind that if you want to get a mortgage, the taxes should be done in a specific way. So ideally not using the 60-40 method of expenses, but maybe paying a bit more in taxes and social security, but increasing your chances of getting a mortgage.
Yeah, that's a very good point. If you are considering a mortgage and you are a freelancer, consult with us, see what tax return you would need to have in order for you to take the mortgage you want, and just to see your option before you deposit it. Yeah.
All right. So one more question from this section. Can you sell the property if there is mortgage on the property?
Okay. So when you own a property that was paid by mortgage, there is a collateral, which is basically a security for the bank, meaning that the bank has something called a lien contract on the given property. That is that when you are not paying your mortgage in time, or I don't know, you left the country and run away, then they are legally obliged to take the property, sell it, and repay the mortgage from it. So now the question is whether you can sell it or not when there is the lien contract on it. The answer is yes, you can do so. Unlike some countries, this is pretty specific to Czech Republic. You can sell it. You can sell it anytime you want. It's not a huge problem. It just needs to be discussed with the given bank and so on. But there is no problem with that.
And then the new owner would like take over the mortgage, or
That is possible in some cases, but generally not. Usually how it is, for example, when you would like to buy a property where there is already some mortgage, on the property, and you are using the mortgage as well. So how it works is that basically your bank is paying off the other bank and, gets it out of the property, so they can have their own security.
okay, and the person who's selling will get the
difference, right, from the how much is left on the mortgage and what is the price of the property.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me just run there quickly
Some
again.
questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing I would say.
Nothing on Facebook, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, we did receive some likes. We received some likes and some hearts to our stream, but no questions, so maybe you don't have any right now on the mortgage. But if you do, you still have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple more questions from Aldo and from Blue Kiwi.
Okay. It's a seminar just for them.
Yeah, it's a private consultation. This isn't specific to mortgage, but is there a difference when buying a property full cash? How does the process differ from getting a mortgage?
Great question. Again, really good. I would say it's less painful, at least for me. So you don't have to deal with mortgage as the first thing, right? Which is quite a process. When you are buying in cash, really, like, I have 5 million property and I have 500 in cash and just straightforward buying it, you have much bigger power, I would say. There is much bigger space for negotiation on the price. So, for example, I have one client from USA who is buying here an apartment in Vinohrady that costs 12 million pounds, and he will be paying in cash. And we managed to get a discount of like 1.5 million because the owner was quite in a hurry, and we had the cash ready, and he didn't have to wait for the whole mortgage to be processed, which, as told, takes like 2-3 months. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's in terms of like administrative process, it's much easier to do so because you have just purchase agreement essentially and some documents for cadastral and an attorney escrow, which is like a security account where the money goes before it goes to the owner. And yeah, so overall it's easier and space for negotiation, I think, is the main points.
Okay, thank you. Another question, should I have an account with the bank I get the mortgage with? Does it matter?
You don't have to, but they will force you to. But it's not a bad thing. The only thing happens, so let's say you have Czech account and we decide to go for Česká spořitelna because they have better conditions. Then the only thing happens is that they will force you to open the bank account and pay from their account. So what you can do is that you can set a standing order from ČSOB to Česká spořitelna, and then from the Česká spořitelna you will get paid off automatically. So it doesn't really change anything for you. But you don't have to have active account in the given bank if you are taking a mortgage from the specific bank. Yeah. You can be completely new client for them, and it's okay.
Thank you. And Blue Kiwi, for how many years is the interest rate fixed for? Do we need to renew the mortgage and rates are reviewed every time you renew it, like they do in Canada or in the US?
The second part, please, once again.
Yeah, do we need to renew the mortgage and rates and review it every time you renew it like they do in Canada or in the US? I'm trying to...
Okay, maybe I understand.
Yeah.
So the first part, for how long the fixation is, for how long you have the interest rate fixed. So that depends up to you. You can have a fixation of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, all the way up to 30 years. You can have fixation for the whole mortgage. That's possible. Yeah, not a lot of people know that, but it's possible. Usually, the fixations are between 3 and 10 years, at least from my experience. So currently, when the interest rates are quite high and they are slowly declining, I choose to my clients short fixation, so like three years usually. But like 2.5 years ago, when there was 2% interest rate, I really said like 10, 15 years fixation from our clients. So they are now laughing right now because they don't have to endure this.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. And review it. Well, at the end of the fixation period, the bank will send you some offer. Like, look, we would love you to continue here your mortgage. Here is your rate that we will give you. And what you need to do is to immediately take this offer again to the bank and show them this and like give us a better rate. And then maybe go to the original bank with the offer, and you can negotiate that term. At least that's what we do. It's quite effective. So yeah, I guess that answers the question.
Maybe what I'm also thinking, maybe the question was if they might like review you as a client, like maybe
okay,
not,
like
not give
in-house.
you, maybe not give you the offer. Say, we don't want you anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get this. That's true. Okay, that was probably the question. If you are staying with the same bank, they don't really care. Basically, if your incomes change, at least as long as you are paying the mortgage and you are staying with the same bank, you don't have to be reviewed again essentially. But if you are refinancing to different bank, then you will have to go through the whole process again. But it's much less painful than to do the mortgage for the first time with buying the property. Because financing is like easier or much more.
You already have some record.
Exactly, and it's just two banks switching clients essentially. It's pretty straightforward. So
Okay. Good. Yeah, those are plenty of good questions and good answers. I have no idea about like
hopefully the answers are
how
as
good
good as you
stuff.
said. Yeah.
Okay, so we have two more questions, general questions about the mortgage in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, for example, is it better now to wait till the mortgage rates go lower?
I love this question. Okay, here we are getting in like not objective but more subjective opinions. I would say. I think there is no objective answer to this. But subjectively speaking, as me, I would definitely not wait for the lower interest rates, and I will tell you why. Essentially, how it works is that right now we are in a situation where there for 2 years there were quite high interest rates, so nobody was buying. Everybody is holding their cash, waiting for the interest rates to go down. During this process, of course, the demand for properties fell down, and also the prices. So right now, although it may not look like that, the prices are quite low in what we will see in 2 or 3 years, what I believe. Because in 2 or 3 years, the interest rates will go down quite substantially. I think we will see like maybe 3.8% in 2 years, interest rate 3.5%. And then we'll spin up the market once again, and everybody who was waiting for the moment will start buying. The demand will skyrocket, as well as the prices. So what you can do is to buy the property now, basically have the price hedged in the current situation, and in 2 years, when the rates will fall down, you will just refinance. And you are all good, and you have the same rate, but you bought much less expensive property. So I think it doesn't make sense to wait for lower rates.
Yeah, good. That's good because then you essentially can buy properties or get a mortgage in any situation on the market, and then you just decide for how long you want to get the fixation.
Exactly.
So either keep lower interest rate or
wait for the moment when you go down. So but really, I believe because Czech people love buying properties, okay? Like really, in comparison with the whole Europe, we are buying properties quite a lot. And really nobody was really buying properties in the past 2 years. So I think it will really go up quite a lot in terms of prices. So I know we are saying this quite a lot, but right now really there are really some specific things that should encourage you to buy in the upcoming half a year. I think it makes sense, or a year.
Yeah. We still have one more question, then I will again go check if we have some more questions on YouTube. But guys, if you are watching this and you like the content, please share it, like it, comment, because I think we've provided, or maybe Max has provided you with plenty of useful tips and information which at least I had no idea at all about. So if you think someone else could benefit from that, someone else is thinking about a mortgage, and this discussion or this Q&As might help, please share it. We'll be happy to see it as well.
Yeah. Totally.
The last question we've got prepared is, what is it? And that was actually one person asked it a couple times, so they were really interested in that, and I think it's also very specific for the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between private and cooperative ownership, and how does it influence the mortgage process?
Okay. Where to start? So sometimes it's private ownership, sometimes it's called personal ownership. So you can encounter these two terms, but they mean the same thing. But the main thing that you are differentiating is the private or the personal ownership versus the cooperative ownership. So the personal ownership is the same like when you are owning an iPhone, it's your personal ownership. So you directly own the specific property, the apartment or house, and so on. But the cooperative ownership is like, I would say, post-socialist era thingy, that instead of you directly buying the specific apartment in the apartment house, you are buying essentially a share of the whole building, but you have an exclusive right to use given property, but you are not directly owning the property. Why is that a problem? Well, first of all, you cannot use cooperatively owned apartments, for security for the bank. So when you are going to a bank and you want to use a mortgage for cooperatively owned apartment, you cannot, because the banks won't take it as a security. So if you don't have any other property to have it as a security, then you can use the mortgage for it. The second thing is, for example, there are very strict rules on how you can use the given property. So let's say you want to do renovation, like big renovation, change the floors, change the electricity lines and so on. When you want to do something like this in personally owned apartment, no problem. You will just put a sign on the hallway, we are reconstructing, sorry for the noise, and it can get going. But here, not quite that. You have to have an approval from everybody in the building. Really, everybody in the building, so you can do the renovation. Same thing applies when you want to rent it. You have to have some kind of confirmation that yes, you can rent the apartment. So it's completely stupid. I would strongly advise not to buy apartments like this. They are a bit cheaper than personally owned, but for obvious reasons, right? So, and how does it influence the mortgage process? Yeah, it influences that way, so you can't even have it. There is some chance.
Big influence.
Yeah. So what I would advise, sorry for interruption, when you're looking for properties, use the filters. And somewhere down, at least on the nationality there is, you can select ownership and select personal, and then you are there.
One question related to that is, what about like atelier or some kind of different
studio?
Yeah, like if you guys, there is also a specific thing that some apartments might look like apartments, but they're not officially listed as apartments in the land register.
Yeah.
So it might be listed as a business space or some kind of hybrid thing. So can you give a mortgage for that?
Yeah. In the land registry, as Jan said, for each property there is some like status for it. Okay, so it can be like apartment or like place for living, and then it can be something called nebytový prostor, which is like place not directly for living, let's say, or it's called really specifically like atelier, which means like studio. These properties are looking exactly the same thing as an apartment, but it may be, for example, in the basement when you have just small windows up to the ceiling. So these are typically atelier, or it's a normal apartment, but it just wasn't. It just isn't listed as an apartment, but as a studio. For these type of properties, they are usually cheaper a bit, And although in the past it was quite, well, I would say possible to get a mortgage for them, right now it's okay. Some banks are able to finance them and take them as a security, but usually it's a problem for the basement type of apartments when some banks have quite big problems of taking it as a security. So yeah, it may be a bit complicated, but it's possible.
Okay. Let me go there one more time. See
Okay.
if there's one last question. And then I'll guess we'll wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay, my last question. Okay. My last question is, does he offer a service for somebody that is looking to buy a property in 2-3 years and just starting to save, like setting up finances to make it easier in the future?
We do this quite frequently, actually. First of all, we of course calculate for the people what salary they need or what price range they can be looking for, and based on that, we know how much of a down payment they need to save, right? And then we set up some savings accounts, or when it's really long term, then some investment accounts and so on. So yeah, we can definitely help with that, and it's good actually. Well, it may seem like a long time, 2-3 years ago, in the future. Sorry, but still, when the worst thing you can do is just all of a sudden decide, well, I want to buy a property and have no down payment already whatsoever, and then it's an issue. Yeah, the down payment is quite problematic with clients.
So you do provide services of people who plan to
Yeah.
buy a property in like 2-3 years to make a plan,
Sure,
to make
exactly.
a saving account, so you
Yeah.
don't have to
And when
do
you
that.
stick to the plan, you will get there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So that was very good, very nice. Thank you very much for joining us today, Maximilian.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you guys on YouTube. That were some amazing questions on like in addition to the ones you had prepared. So thank you very much.
Totally.
Hello. Both of you.
Yeah, in case you're interested in buying a property, getting a mortgage, or just set a financial plan, or any kind of like financial help, you can contact us directly and we will connect you, or just answer some of your basic questions before that. We'll be very happy to do that.
Yep.
This is actually how we met. A few of our clients actually bought properties together with Maximilian, and they were very happy. So that's how we met, that's how we kept cooperating, and we decided to make a little live stream and a few videos of that because we were asked the same questions over and over again, and we were not financial advisors, we are business advisors. So that's why we decided to join forces and to do this live stream today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can set up some initial meetings, see what the options are, and I will be happy to meet.
Sorry to jump into that, but you mentioned that you would like maybe explain how it works with you. So like,
Okay, yeah.
I want to buy a property. So
Right.
what happens?
Yeah, what happens? Yeah. First, I set up these initial meetings because it's, I believe still in the old-fashioned face-to-face meetings. I don't really prefer the online ones, but they are possible as well. When somebody is living in America, it's hard to have face-to-face meeting, right? But still. After this, during this meeting, we talk about what you are looking for, what you are planning to buy, what is your current finance situation, and so on. And when it's in a phase that you are, actively looking for properties, we start getting offers from the bank. So at the next meeting, following after the initial one, you will get an overview of the market, what is the lowest interest rate possible, where they will give you the most money, etc. Things like that. And then when you have some properties that you like, usually clients are sending us the links. So because when you are calling to some real estate agent that is selling the property you like, and you start with hello, they usually are frightened because they usually cannot speak English pretty well, and they hang up or ignore you or something like that. So we speak in Czech, of course. We ask them for some specific things that are not mentioned maybe in the post about the property. And when it's actually ready for a visit, we can provide provide a translator. I can go with you or some of my colleagues that will translate during the visit. And then we will start the mortgage process, do the whole thing, as I said, from the beginning to an end. You don't have to pay us anything directly, apart from the visits. We are charging per visit. But apart from that, the whole mortgage process is for free because we have contract with every bank and they are giving us money for mortgages. So we don't want to charge clients. We could, but we don't. We want to make it affordable and make it fair. Let's say we get enough money from the bank. So
that's actually a good thing because some of the questions was if you only work with one bank or one institution or with more. So yeah, if you were working with one only, that would be kind of not really in interest of the client. So it's actually good that you work with most of the banks and you can really compare and you can offer the best.
Exactly.
solution.
Yeah, we have the same amount of money from every of them, so we are not biased. We have strict policy about this. And yeah, when you have just one bank, that's not good. Not good.
Not much flexible, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah. And with expats, you need to be flexible. And mortgages, really.
I think that's a good last sentence of the live stream.
Max 2024. Okay.
Yeah, I was quoted.
So, we already wrap it up?
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you too. It was great. After the initial problems, all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
great.
thank you very much, guys, for joining. We might do some more live streams like that or more articles on our website about this topic if you're interested. So let us know and see you some other time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.